Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Sideline Search podcast. I am your host, Emil, joined by my co-host, Samaj, over here. We had an interesting. Today is Sunday, so like the Jets Steelers game is going on right now, and tomorrow's Monday night football games we will probably talk about on the Thursday episode. But we can talk about a full recap of college football. We had some exciting games this week. The earliest, Oregon just fucked up Purdue. Absolutely destroyed Purdue. We don't gotta talk about that. Oklahoma made Baylor work for it. Okay, my opinion is that I feel like Oklahoma should be at least ranked a little bit just for making Baylor work for it. That is my opinion. Because
Mm,
how are you unranked after almost winning against a ranked team? I feel like you need to be given at least a little bit of credit.
I mean, true, but at the same time, you got to think about it. How many ranked teams have played unranked teams
That's
and
true.
somewhat struggled? So it's like that will mess up the rankings a lot more because then it would be like what 50, basically 50 teams that's like being debated for top 25. So
That's
that's
true.
kind of like not fair.
Is Vandy ranked? Because they beat Bama, right?
Um, I'm pretty nah, they're not.
Um, I don't know, man. Um, I watched I watched recap of the Baylor game because I was not able to watch the college football games. I think Oklahoma should have won. I think they should have won, but they lost their quarterback to injury. But they played well. I liked what I saw. It was tough seeing the quarterback get injured because I feel like if he hadn't gotten injured and Oklahoma won, they would have at least gotten a good chance to be ranked. I don't know if necessarily they would have gotten ranked, but they would have at least had a good chance. And I'm kind of sad that they didn't. Uh,
Actually, no, Vandy is ranked. They're ranked
Vandy is
25.
ranked. There you go. And they're playing Texas, right? In
Yeah,
a
they
week.
played Texas and Auburn.
Yeah, so if they
Uh,
show up against those teams, then I think they'll be ranked. But I mean, it's a good
mm,
example of how you gotta show up every week. Speaking of Texas, they lost to Georgia. They lost to Georgia after we were just saying that they have to show up every week. They lost to Georgia 30 to 15. I mean, we kind of called it.
I, bro, I don't miss, bro. I had this whole season. I haven't missed. I've called literally everything because it's like, bro, you can literally like see the energy like leading up to a game, bro. It's literally like the Bama versus Georgia game. Everybody thought Georgia was going to prove themselves, bro. It's Bama. There's always something spectacular that happens with Bama. Same thing with Georgia and Texas. Everybody thinks Texas is gonna wipe Georgia, but come on, bro. We really know Texas does not deserve to be number one. Like that's obvious. There's definitely other teams that's better than them. It's the fact that like they're performing so good. That's why people think they deserve to be number one. No, bro. We've seen that multiple years in a row. Same thing with Georgia, like 2 years ago. They may have won back to back, but last year they should not have been ranked number one, especially after not playing no comp and played barely any ranked teams. Like that says a lot in itself. And yet, as soon as they get to the playoffs, they lose. That
I
like,
think
come on now.
Trevor Etienne, the running back out of Florida, younger brother of Travis Etienne, I think he deserves a special shout out, scoring 3 touchdowns in that game, 87 yards on 19 carries. He deserves a shout out because I do want to point out that Georgia quarterback, um, Carson Beck, had 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and Georgia still won by 15 points. Also, shout out to the fucking defense who locked in against Texas. Like I saw, like
Yeah,
they put in Arch Manning just because Ewers was getting fucked by the defense.
bro.
I
They
th
literally put him in for probably like one drive and then took him right back out, bro. It was bad, bro. It was so
It's
bad.
so bad. It was almost embarrassing. This defense really locked in. And I mean, Texas tried. I mean, they at least got 15 points. Ewers got 2 touchdowns and more yards than the Georgia quarterback. So I will give him that. But like this defense locked in that first half. That first half was enough to kind of put Texas down a notch.
Yeah, for sure, bro. That
And
was
the ranking is fair. Georgia is now at number 2. Texas is number 5. They're going down a total of four places. I think that's completely fair. I, after what I
mm,
saw,
what the one thing I would say though is that I feel like Penn State shouldn't be that high. I feel like Penn State should be a little bit lower, only because like when you see teams like I mean like for sure they for sure play a lot of ranked teams, but if we take into consideration a lot of those ranked teams that they played, they haven't done too well against other teams recently. So it's like you can't even really say like Penn State should be number three. But at the same time, we see like even Ohio State. I feel like Ohio State should be top three for sure. Ohio State has been balling out like ridiculously, and then it's the fact that with like comparing the two schedules, we can clearly see like who has more competition on each, and I feel like they should take that more into consideration because I mean the rankings do change every Sunday at 2 o'clock or 2:30. They change every Sunday, but I feel like they should stop like putting him so high off the rip, and then like they drop positions below. Because bro, Texas was literally number one for a few weeks now, and then as soon as that loss happened, they dropped 4 positions. So it's like I feel if you're gonna do that, it would make sense to like not rank them too high. Because to be honest, right now, Oregon, Ohio, and I would definitely say Georgia. They have played probably the most ranked teams right now, besides Penn State. But even then, Penn State like they still have to prove themselves in a whole nother way because Penn State hasn't really been like super talked about in recent years since we've seen even Nick Chubb or Saquon Barkley. Like we've seen like basically the talent come from there. But even then, we haven't seen nothing crazy from them, especially from guys in the league in recent years. So I would definitely say like they deserve to be top five, but I'm not sure about top three. That's kind of pushing it just a little bit.
Penn State does play Ohio State in 2 weeks on November 2nd, and they had a
It's
bye
not
week
gonna
this
do it
week.
for
So
them.
I don't know if it's fair to move them when they didn't even play this week. That Ohio State game, if they get humbled by Ohio State the way Texas did by Georgia, then Penn State will probably fall a few places. But I think until because they've played what? USC, UCLA, Illinois, and they won all of those games. I think that's fair. Like all of those teams have pretty good programs, I would say. So until they play Ohio State, if they win against Wisconsin, I think it's fair to keep them at the spot that they are, unless other teams are playing better. But obviously, if they play against Ohio State and get humbled, then yeah, they will get dropped. We also had that Tennessee Bama game where Tennessee won 24 to 17, and now Bama is at number 15, the number 15 spot. They were at what, number 7, I think?
Bro, no, they were higher than that for a little bit. They were I'm pretty sure top three, and then when they lost, they dropped down to I think it was yeah 7, and then they lost again, and then dropped down to 15. That's crazy.
They
I was
they
not
have
I was not expecting
dropped.
that.
And I mean, it's not, I don't think they played badly. At least I don't think they got humbled the way Texas did. And at least they weren't like, coming at um number 1. Uh we had Jalen Milroe. 239 yards, but he did have two interceptions. I saw Ryan Williams playing. He got 73 yards off of eight receptions with one touchdown. We had Bernard, Journey Bernard, with also 72 yards on five receptions. They have good receivers. I think Bama has good receivers. Especially we've talked about Ryan Williams already. I think this was just a bad game. Um, and I think Tennessee just played better. That's really all I have to say about this specifically.
Nah,
Um,
yeah, for sure. Because I
the
mean,
defense locked
if, if
in.
if if you look at it though, you actually see that like Bama they weren't comfortable because like
Yeah,
even though like, they lost to once they lost to Vandy, it was like they weren't comfortable anymore. So it's like that goes to show that once Nico stepped up, that made it even worse for them because Nico was freaking going crazy. Like he was actually dropping dimes, and then
yeah.
Bama's defense was literally like falling apart. But then when Tennessee fully steps up, almost no team can really stop them unless it's like a real like Power Five school. Like that's always been dominating. So that I feel like that's where Alabama messed up a little bit. But now, if they don't pick up the pace again, it's for sure going to mess them up for the rest of the season. They probably won't even be able to touch playoffs because of that.
It's also important to note there was a huge disparity in the running games. Tennessee had 214 rushing yards, while Bama only put in 75. And in that regard, we also had Tennessee running back uh, Dylan Sampson with two touchdowns and 139 yards on 26 carries. He alone beat Alabama's running game. Not even to note the other running backs who were putting in work, and the quarterback who put in 44 yards on nine carries. So I think the running game had a huge effect on this game to put Alabama at a 5-2 record and at a 15 ranking, which is honestly kind of sad. It is sad to see them fall so far from Nick Saban. Not for me. I hate Bama, but it is kind of sad to see. We had also UCF versus Iowa State, which I think UCF should have won. As a Florida
100%.
person, I wish UCF would have won. I watched the recap. It was definitely a defense and running game. I think UCF had a pick six. I think only one pick six, but they had multiple interceptions, and
Yeah,
it was impressive to watch them play. I wish they would have won, but I mean, they played against a pretty good Iowa State team. They're 7-0 at number 10 now, but I don't know. I don't know if Iowa State really deserves that number 10 ranking after almost losing to UCF. But then again, UCF, their quarterback went 8-20 with only 62 yards and two interceptions. The whole game for UCF was built on their running game. We had RJ Harvey with 25 carries and 196 yards and two touchdowns. To give the quarterback credit, to give Ja'Cory Brown credit, he had 13 carries and 154 yards and two touchdowns as well. So their whole game right on this in this game was on the running game. Iowa State could not stop the run, which makes it which makes me interested to see how they would fare against Tennessee's running game. If they can barely go against UCF with just the scrambling and RJ Harvey's running, I would be scared to see how they do against Tennessee's running game, which we saw completely destroyed Bama. Because their passing game was okay. Um, Rocco Becht had 274 yards, one touchdown. He did get two interceptions, which one of those was a pick six. Uh, and I mean, Iowa State too had a good running game. Two touchdowns scrambling for the quarterback, and two touchdowns for Carson Hansen, sorry. But they did not have as many yards as UCF did. Uh, Special shout out to Jalen Noel though, who had eight receptions, 153 yards, no touchdowns though, sadly. It was interesting to see though. I feel like UCF should have won. I'm sad that they didn't win as a Florida inhabitant.
I mean not even just as a Florida, like bro, UC has been through a lot, bro. Probably
Yeah,
like the past decade is it's been rough for the football team for sure. Like it's been a roller coaster. So the fact that they got that close, like that, I mean, that shows like if they I wouldn't say step up their recruitment, but if like the recruits step up as in like
Yeah.
freshmen, they actually like lock in and do what they're supposed to do in the years to come. I feel like they would actually be a pretty decent program. They probably wouldn't like beat everybody or be like super good, but that can at least start like a very good dynasty and like help them with the program moving forward. That's like the main problem that they have right now, especially because a lot of people don't want to go to UCF just because it's UCF. Like
Yeah.
they haven't been good, so I feel like that's what they have to work on more.
Is UCF is remind me like what like good player would I know that is from UCF? Like has there been
From
like a good
UCF.
player from UCF in a while? Or at least one that we would know of?
Ooh, to be honest, I no, bro. I doubt it. Like
Yeah, so
honestly,
it could just be a
I would
program
say
problem.
yeah, like I would say it's more of a program problem because talent wise, not really. Like they have talent there, and then there's for sure been a few that have made it to the league, but that hasn't been for a while. We haven't seen like top recruits from UCF go crazy in the league, and they usually and statistically they end up retiring very fast. So even then, like that's not good at all. That's not healthy for the program.
Gabe Davis. I
I mean,
think
I
Gabe
would say
Davis.
Gabe Davis, but he right now he's playing horrible, bro.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he's not trash because he has the skill set. Everything is there, but as far as like actually producing, same thing with UCF. They like it doesn't last. They will have a good few seasons and then they'll just die off.
I mean there are players, but I don't think anyone like too big. But I mean the Griffin brothers, Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin, were from UCF. Of course, as Miami natives, we have to talk about UM versus Louisville. I do want to say for this game specifically, I believed the whole time. Cam Ward is still good, which I'm happy to see. But I think again, I don't know what it is about this week, but it was a game that depended on the running and on the defense. It was a high scoring game too. But I mean, we outscored them every single quarter. So I think we deserve that win, honestly. I know Louisville isn't a bad program, so I'm happy with that win. Maybe they're not the best this year, but I mean, you have to give credit where credit is due. Cam Ward went 21 and 32, 21 out of 32, 319 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. Like you have to give credit where credit is due.
I'm gonna give. He's not horrible. He's like he's a great QB, but give him the same. Well, give Shador the same O line. Guarantees he's making the same stats.
That is true. They have a good
Like
O-line, but they invested
people don't
into that
people don't under,
O-line.
but that's what I'm saying. Like Cam, like no, without a doubt, bro. Cam was freaking disgusting, bro. He's literally the Le'Veon Bell quarterback. That man is so patient. He's so fluid, and he has no problem just waiting. But at the same time, a QB is going to be like that either way if they have an O line that's doing their job. Like, bro, we can see it every game. This man literally has 4 to 5 seconds in the pocket. The only two other quarterbacks that we've seen in recent years that had that is literally Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and actually three, Josh Allen. Those are literally the only three quarterbacks
That's true.
that we have seen that's so fluid with their O line. Like their O line is disgusting. It gives them so much time in the pocket, and even if his receivers aren't open, he still has that last 2 possible seconds where he can get the ball off and just do something with it. People don't understand that, and I'm not saying like they shouldn't be undefeated, but to be honest, we've seen so many games that were too close where they shouldn't have won. I'm gonna be honest. Like they showed up in the end and they did what they're supposed to do, but as far as like overall performance of the whole game, they shouldn't have won it because because now it's like you're depending too much on those clutch moments, if that makes sense. Like you're depending on like, okay, we down, all right, now it's time to drop a play, and now it's time to actually do our job. No, that should be the start like from right
You
away.
should be in
That should really
control.
be your exactly like that should be your mindset going straight into the game. Because if you do your job early in the game and then your defense does its job later in the game, bro, you have no problems. And the fact that it was that high of a scoring game, that goes to show like offense, yeah, they've done their job, but defense is not what they're supposed to be doing. And then because like think about it, if we give Shador that O line, and yeah, he has a healthy Travis Hunter, a healthy Jimmy Horn, he has a healthy Welsh, or he even has a healthy Shepherd, bro. They're all the receivers are disgusting, but the fact that he barely has time to even get the ball off, that's what makes it hard. Because it's like now defense like, okay, he's not getting the ball off, so now I can just play man, or we can even play in zone, and there's nobody's getting past us. That's what makes it worse. So the fact that has that like perfectly, they've mastered it. But we still need to see them play our ranked school, bro. Like we have to. If we don't see them play a ranked school, like we already know what it is, bro. Come on now.
Let me see. They're playing FSU next weekend, which is gonna be fun for me. I am going to that game, and it's gonna be fun because they are officially a bottom 25 team, which is so funny to see. Um, we're not playing like any ranked teams. I think good teams, Georgia Tech, I think they look okay. Like I've heard they look okay. I was talking with some other people that said that maybe Syracuse might be like an upset where like we might get fucked there, and maybe Wake Forest, but we're not playing ranked competition.
I would say the closest to ranked is for UM is Duke and Syracuse. Duke is actually like it's not even a football school, and they're playing like very very well. And they set like they're not high in football recruits, but they've stepped their game up as far as like just overall performance. Because even like there is talent there, and I would say like over the past few years, well, not even just over the past few years or like the last season, we've seen them do like okay, but you can see like that was kind of like the kickstart to them actually like taking it to the next level. We've even seen the same thing with North Carolina. They like North Carolina hasn't done too good, but they've started to actually like kick up the program a lot more, and they've like very close to even making the playoffs and actually playing pretty good. So I feel like Duke is probably gonna like be the upset if you already know Cam Ward and his receivers don't do something like crazy. Like we already know how that goes. It's always one final touchdown or something at the end of the game that like seals it.
To give credit to Louisville, their quarterback did have 4 touchdowns and more
I'm,
yards.
I'm
But
telling
like,
you.
you gotta give credit where credit is due. Louisville's not a bad team. They're not a bad program. But yeah, I want to see how we do against Duke and Syracuse, like you said. I want to finish out the season strong. Obviously, like hopefully no major injuries or anything. Um, but I think I don't want to jump the fence too early. But I think we are kind of guaranteed a playoff spot at this point if we keep playing. If we keep winning and just stay undefeated, I feel like maybe we'll be almost guaranteed a playoff spot.
I feel like I mean, it could be guaranteed, but
I feel like it would be a
looking at
steal if we didn't get in.
yeah, I mean, no, actually, I feel like it would be like 50-50 because think about it, it's like the same thing with FSU last year. FSU they played a lot of like good ranked teams, went undefeated, but didn't make the playoffs. So it's like now you have a team that's going against no ranked teams, like no like real Power Five schools. So it's like now if even if y'all do go undefeated and there's still another ranked team that's probably lost 1 or 2 games, but yet they played straight like comp teams like straight
Like
ranked
Oregon.
teams. Yeah, like or even not even just Oregon, like Ohio State. Ohio State has been playing like pretty good. So it's like if you really take that into consideration, remember it's only 4 teams that make it every year. So
Yeah.
that will also be like kind of difficult for them to decide. But I would say within the next few years, with them actually switching up how playoffs will go, I feel like UM will probably make it almost every year from now on this point because now it's a lot of high recruits going into that program.
I feel like we just gotta lock in the next few games. Like, take control of the games more. But I mean, you gotta give credit to Louisville. They're not a bad program.
Nah, bro.
But it is games
Nah.
like the Cal game and the Virginia Tech game where you do kind of feel like they should be taking control earlier. Although I will say that this game we didn't have to come back the way we had to with Cal and with Virginia Tech. We were more competitive and we stayed in the lead more often and stuff like that. So I think it was okay. You, my friend, wanted to talk about the Army and the Navy. What do you see in the Army and the Navy right now?
Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my, bro. This is probably the best we've seen the Army and Navy in years, bro. Like this, like no, this is actually insane. Both literally games, running backs have literally had over 600 yards for 2 touchdowns, bro. And then even with QBs, it's like the team is so solid right now. Matter of fact, for Navy, passing yards for about 888 yards, rushing yards, 621. That's that, and then like think about it. That's as a QB. So then when we take his rushing and we take running backs, bro, 179, 170, 157, and that's across 3 running backs. So you literally you already average over 500 yards, possibly a game. Like that's kind of crazy. And then the fact that like they, of course, they haven't gone against like super good teams, but Navy and Army aren't like really high recruited schools at all.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like one of the last resort schools you will go to if you're trying to go to the next level, like and like really go to the next level because a lot of people don't know if you don't go to the league, bro, you pretty much a soldier after you graduate from Navy or Army. Like people don't know that. So it's like it's either you literally like ball your heart out to make it to the league, or you're literally sitting on the bench and you're going to be holding a rifle in your hand within a few years. Like people don't understand that, bro. You like Army Navy is not a super high recruited school, so the fact that they're both undefeated right now and they're playing really good, and the fact that they play each other on December 14th, I believe, that's going to
Yes.
be a great game, bro.
They
That's
also
like
both play
that's
Notre
crazy.
Dame,
And then, bro, no, and then
who
Notre
is ranked
Dame.
number
Oh my
12.
gosh, bro, is like Notre
They're
Dame
both
is
gonna
like
play them.
they're starting to sneak up a little bit. Notre Dame, and like I would say probably last year or the year before, Notre Dame hasn't been too good, but now with a lot of there, I feel like this is what they did from the outside point of view. I feel like they started to not only go towards like 4 or 5 star recruits, they started to like dig deeper into the 2 or 3 stars that actually are like super hungry and they're trying to actually turn around the program because it's not guaranteed for your school to always be good if you only recruit 4 or 5 star recruits. We've seen that before. So it's like I feel like it's what a lot of programs should do a lot more. Like basically be like Army, Navy, and Notre Dame. There are those 3 ranked teams right now. They're not super highly recruited, but yet they're playing phenomenal. We don't normally see those teams do good. And to be honest, I wouldn't say they have a shot at making the playoffs, but I would say that they have a shot of at least showing people like, okay, we don't make it this year, we're for sure making it next year or the year after that. I feel like that's like the type of image that they're trying to go after. So like, bro, Army and Navy, that's crazy, bro. 2 different teams across 3 different running backs, and you literally share over 600 to 800 rushing
Mm.
yards, and then both your QBs are going stupid, almost 1,000 yards. That's crazy. Like we don't normally see that, and people would say like, oh, like yeah, Cam Ward throwing for 300, 400 a game, but yet look at the team. He's not gonna be able to do that without his receivers or O line. So
Yeah.
like, come on. Then the fact that you have Army and Navy, come like that's not even a discussion, bro. They're actually proving a point, bro. People don't understand that.
We need to talk about, I just remembered, we need to talk about We need to go back to Georgia and Texas. Did you see the thing about the how fans started throwing water bottles
Oh
and then the
my
call
God,
got
bro.
reversed?
I
How do
got
you feel
four
about
different
that?
notifications from that in the same 5 minutes, bro.
How do you feel about that? Because I didn't understand what happened. I understood that they reversed the call, but I don't know if it was directly from the fact that fans were throwing water bottles.
No, it was for that because you get penalized for like the team they actually get penalized for that, and then eventually after the game you get fined for it. Like you get
Okay.
fined a couple of thousand. So it's like it's kind of like I don't know if you remember. I think it was last year or 2 years ago when the Buffalo Stadium for the Bills, the whole stadium was filled with snow, but
And they
then
started throwing
they eventually
snowballs.
yeah they started throwing snowballs. That's
Yeah.
kind of like the same thing. It's distracting for the players and the team. So that's kind of why they would basically penalize it. But if it wasn't for distracting, they would allow it all the time.
They got mad over a PI call, a pass interference call, right?
Yeah,
Did you think it was pass interference or not?
it's kind of hard to like decide to be honest because I've played both. I played both sides of the ball, DB and receiver. So it's
Yeah.
like if I see contact from the receiver and then once that ball's in the air, then I see contact from the DB is difficult to decide because like yeah, the ball's in the air, but if it's just like a little arm on his hip or something, or like on his shoulder, you can't really call that as a PI. But if it's a full on like you're holding him down or you're literally like have an actual grip on him, I would say that's a PI. So for Texas, from an official point of view, I would say that's for sure a PI. But from an outside point of view, I would that's kind of that goes both ways to be honest. That's like an offense and defense like
That's kind of
that
hard to
basically
call.
cancels each other out. Yeah, like it's hard to call. That's like same thing with UM and the Virginia Tech game. Like that very last play, like that
Yeah.
was so hard to tell if it was a touchdown or interception. Like that was actually kind of crazy. That's how it is.
I I feel like it's kind of insane. It was bad timing that they reversed the call after the fans were throwing water balls. Like that just makes it seem so sus. I think it's kind of embarrassing for Texas to show that. Like even the coach was like, "Hey, telling the students, yo, like this is not us. Like stop it." It's a little
Yeah,
embarrassing for them, especially since they lost, you know. But like it is what it is at the end of the day. We need to talk about the rankings quickly. Is there anyone on there? You talked about Penn State, but anyone else on there who you think that doesn't deserve the ranking right now?
um, I wouldn't say doesn't deserve it, but I don't really know. I mean, we can talk about like Boys State or like Pitt or even Illinois, like schools like that. But I would say like even though they haven't like played too many ranked teams, that they're still like showing that okay, even if we don't play a ranked team, we can still hang with the ranked teams. Like I would say that's kind of same thing about UM. Even though like they haven't played any ranked teams, they're showing that even if we do play a ranked team, it might not be as good as we think it will be, but they can still at least hang with them and like for sure score at least 4 or 5 touchdowns on them because like they're so efficient. So I don't know about if they don't deserve to be not ranked. I would say that like they shouldn't be too high on the list to be honest. I would say like they have to at least be like below like bottom 15 for sure
Like they
because
gotta
we
still
should not
show
be
more.
seeing yeah, exactly. Like they should not be ranked that high. That's kind of what I was saying about like Penn State. I feel like they should be like 5, like no below that, but like 5.
And I mean that's what happened with Bama.
Yeah, for
Lost to
sure.
Vandy, then they lost to Georgia, and now they lost to fuck I forgot.
They lost to Vandy first, and then they lost to Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee, yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, like that's fair. Like if that were to happen to UM, they would also drop a lot in the rankings. And I mean, we just saw it with Texas, who lost to Georgia. Do you think Oregon has earned that top spot, or do you still want to see more from them before you like give them that definite top spot?
Mm, I would say from overall performance that they deserve to be one or two, but I've they haven't played. They've played like a few ranked teams, but they haven't played too many though. It's like I mean, like yeah, Oregon is a really like great school, great program, but after only playing Ohio State, it's like it's kind of
And
iffy to
boys.
really. And I mean yeah, boys, but at the time they weren't ranked,
Oh,
so
that's
like we
true.
can't really count that. But then same thing with I believe they played, was it Illinois? Yeah, they played Illinois. Even with Illinois, they were ranked.
No, Oregon is playing
Uh,
Illinois next week.
no, I'm saying like even if they play or Illinois, they're ranked
Oh,
20. Like even if
yeah,
they win or they don't win, like that's not too much of a competition. So it's like you can't really say they deserve to be number one. But bro, they're going crazy right now. I would say out of all like the top schools right now, Oregon is for sure dominating on a game basis. We've seen number one teams or top five teams go crazy, lose a game, then then lose another game, and they would drop crazy like rankings. So I feel like Oregon deserves to be number one right now for sure because they show it. Like there's not too many other teams that can really take that spot away from them.
yeah. I mean, until playoffs, obviously. Let's move on to the NFL. Let's see, what are the Jets at right now? What's the score? 23-15. The Steelers are winning.
Bro,
Aaron, Aaron Rodgers is 18 completions out of 29 attempts, 220 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions, and one touchdown from running back Brees Hall. I need to see more from this Jets team because they have a stacked receiving core and like it pisses me off. If I had these types of receivers, imagine if fucking Patrick Mahomes had these receivers, man. I feel like the Jets have a lot more to show. Maybe I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the right fit for this team. I think Aaron Rodgers is ass, or at least that he's too old now.
I wouldn't say he's too old, but I feel like his mentality is starting to like be on the older side. Like he expects so much, and he's not even trying to actually teach or like trying to be like a true leader. Because I mean, like, yeah, obviously your receivers are probably running the wrong routes and like not doing what they're supposed to do. But at the same time, that's a one-on-one thing. If you aren't going up to them and you're just not saying anything or even saying anything in practice, that goes to show like, dude, you don't really care because as soon as we saw Tay get drafted or I mean traded, bro, everybody was on Tay. Everybody was like, so okay, now Tay is there. Now he's not gonna focus on Wilson so much. And even with Wilson, like bro, Wilson's freaking he's so skilled, but yet people overlook him just because of a few bad games or he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Bro, that's a communication thing. That's literally like you not moving as a unit. Once you move as a unit, the Jets are like they're pretty good. It's just the fact that you have Aaron Rodgers at QB and then him sitting out a whole season, having him come back, not even actually fully healthy, and then he's blaming everything on his receivers. Obviously, they run a wrong route or they do what they're supposed to do. That's on them. But you can't put everything on them when you're the leader. You're supposed to be pointing it out and actually telling them like, okay, I need you to do this and do what you're supposed to do. Or even then, it's probably just a practice thing. Dude has been out literally for a whole year. So the fact that they
Yeah,
only had so little time to like really actually get timing down in practice, that could really impact a lot of things. Because we've seen that with a few teams. We've seen that with the Dolphins, actually. We've seen that with Tyler Huntley or even Skylar Thompson. Their timing is horrible because we've seen them try to throw it to Hill or Waddle, and it's either behind them or not even close to them. So that's kind of the same thing with the Jets right now. Rodgers, he just has like that lazy mindset. He's like that retired grandpa basically. The man's just there. He's just literally existing. So I feel like that's what Rodgers has like. He has to. change a little bit. Once Rodgers changes his mindset, bro, they're unstoppable. They have every receiver that they need.
It will be, I mean, right now they're in the third quarter for everyone watching. Like we are filming this. What time is it right now? It's 10:49 on Sunday. The Steelers are winning right now. It'll be really funny to me if Russell Wilson can be successful at the Steelers after that Broncos stint and the conflict with Sean Payton. He is 204 yards right now, on just 11 completions, one touchdown passing, one touchdown running. And shout out to George Pickens, man, who is only four receptions right now. He has 104 yards and one touchdown. Maybe Russell Wilson could be successful at the Steelers. I think it's very uh disappointing to see Justin Fields get taken out when he was doing, I think, well. Like they were 4-2. But yeah, let's go to the beginning of the week. Broncos versus Saints. Um, that was a beautiful Broncos defense, I think, to see. I think the Saints might be done for the year now that their car is out. I think that's all there really is to say about about the Broncos Saints game. The Broncos defense looked good. Their offense looked okay. I mean, Bo Nix is just a a rookie. When it comes to the Patriots and the Jaguars, we said that if Drake May played, the Patriots would win. And we saw Drake May play, but they did not win. I want to point out that Drake May played well. He made 26 completions, 276 yards, two touchdowns, zero interceptions. What would you say happened in this game? What do you think is the problem? Did the Jaguars just outscore them? Did
I mean, to be fair, if you think about it, well, actually, no, not even think about it. If you actually like watch the game or just watch both teams individually, you can see that like even though the Jags aren't super good, that they're organized in a way. So it's like they're already used to playing with each other. They already have a great old line. So Lawrence has time to throw it. He has times for his receivers to actually get open. But if we really look at it, the Patriots defense has been horrible like recently, bro. So I would say that like yeah, the Jags they outscored them, but if Patriots defense actually did what they're supposed to do, they it could have been like a really close game, like probably by a field goal possibly. So that's kind of like that's kind of the way it went really because Lawrence hasn't been playing super good. If we actually look at the stats or even
I
just watch the
mean,
games.
he had less yards than Drake May. He did 15 out of 20 completions, or 15 completions out of 20 attempts. Only 193 yards, didn't even reach the 200 mark, and only one touchdown. They were carried, I want to say carried, they were carried by Tank Bigsby, who had 26 carries, 118 yards, two touchdowns, two running touchdowns. And I would say that punt return also probably helped. That punt return touchdown for 96 yards. But yeah, like I've been saying this too. I don't think Trevor Lawrence isn't as good as he was hyped those first few years. So I think it was just a defensive problem for the Patriots. I think Drake May looks good, and if the Patriots invest into their defense, at least for next year, they will be decent next year. And then if they do a little bit more investing around Drake May next to the next year, they could maybe not go back to Tom Brady's era Patriots, but I think they can be good again. Like I don't think it's that bad for the Patriots because they were playing Jaco. I don't know why they were playing Jacoby Brissett. He was bad. Like Drake May played and immediately showed that he can play. Even if they lose, like he can play. Like he had zero interceptions. He had more completions, more yards than Trevor Lawrence, and two touchdowns. So I think that's a good sign for the Patriots. And as long as they keep investing into him and training him up and investing into a defense, which the Patriots need to do, I think they'll be fine. We had the our big games were Lions Vikings and Texans Packers. Lions, as we said, the Lions won 31 to 29. So now they take the top spot in the division, I think. It should be like that. And I don't know, I mean, I don't have anything. I thought that it would be like a Lions destruction, like a Lions winning by a lot. I thought this would be the game that Sam Darnold would start playing badly. But I mean, he had an interception, but he made 22 completions, 259 yards, and one touchdown. So I you gotta give him credit. Like he didn't play awful. He has a good receiving core, so I think it's hard for him to play badly. Um, I don't know. They relied a lot on their kicking. I think on field goals, which I think the Lions did too, honestly. But Jared Goff made two touchdowns, and running back Josh Gibbs made two touchdowns. So, um, I don't know. Maybe the Vikings got to lock in offensively a bit because they relied too much on their field goals and not enough on their actual touchdown offense. I don't know. I don't have a lot of notes. Both teams played, I think, as well as they could have. I think the Lions definitely deserve the win. Um, but yeah. What do you think?
I think that, but I mean, both are undoubtedly top three teams in the league for sure. Like, the only other team that we can really say is in that conversation is the Ravens, and we say that because, like, even though it may not be like a high scoring game, that they show that they're still top three. But as far as the Lions versus Vikings, I think it's more of an experience thing because even though there's young guys, like there's a lot of young guys on both teams, we see more of like the vet side of it from the Lions. You have a vet coach that was in the NFL. Then you have Stafford at QB.
Jared
So it's like
Goff.
with, I mean, yeah, Jared Goff. Sorry, I'm thinking of Megatron. I'm tripping. You have Jared Goff at QB, bro. Goff is he's been in the league for years now, bro. So it's like with him, like being the leader he is, and then you already have like the young talent coming in. Then praise for Hutchinson, like that was crazy. But then you have guys like Hutchinson, you have Montgomery, you have St. Brown. It's just I feel like it's a leader thing because we don't see that too much from the Vikings. Like, yeah, the Vikings they have a lot of young guys, but we don't see more of the vet side of it. Sam Darnold he's pretty good, but I would say that he needs to step up just like a little bit more as far as a leader, because you want to be that leader on the field to where it's like we don't like you want to be making the calls, you want to be calling the plays and everything, because that's where they messed up. I feel like he relied too much on the coach, and that's what like made it go down for them because they for sure could have won that game, but with him like being so comfortable of like kicking a field goal almost every like drive, that was not healthy at all. And then as far as the Vikings defense is also young, but we've seen like crazy plays from them every game. And even with that, some of those guys they came from other teams that had more vets. So it's like now they already have the experience, and now you have a bunch of young guys put all their brains together, all their learning experience, and then you put it under a very good defensive coordinator, bro. Like they're honestly crazy because their defensive rushing game is insane, and then on top of their defensive passing is honestly crazy how like they've held the Lions to only that many points. Because if it was any other team, bro, Lions would have whooped them like badly. It wouldn't even be close. But the fact that it was literally like a 3 point game from them, possibly even like that field goal of them winning, that goes to show like Vikings, they're putting up a fight, bro. Because in recent years, we've seen them come close a few times. Like we've seen them
With
make
Kirk
plays, have
Cousins.
great games. Yeah, we've seen them come close. But like now, bro, they're proving a point. They're really showing like they're for sure one of the best legacy franchises in history. So I feel like if they go more towards of the like being a leader route, bro, we could possibly see them in the Super Bowl. Like honestly, we could possibly see either them or the Lions for sure against Ravens in the Super Bowl, like 100%. Because there's not too much competition for the Ravens right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
the
There's not
Chiefs
too
don't look
much,
good.
bro. And then like speaking on the Chiefs, they shouldn't even have won this game, bro. I don't even like. Come on now.
The 49ers, like, I didn't even
It's
watch it. Like, it was, I didn't even want to think about it. I knew the 49ers don't look, they're missing so many vital parts of their offense. Like, just Christian McCaffrey being out, I think has hurt them so much.
one,
And I mean,
bro.
Brock Purdy got intercepted 3 times. 3 times he got intercepted. I will give him the credit that he put up both touchdowns in the running game, but passing wise, he did not put up a touchdown. He only had 212 yards on 17 completions, which is still pretty good, but he had 3 interceptions. Like that's pretty big. Ayuk, I think, got hurt, right? Like it's a possible ACL.
Bro, have you seen the clip,
No.
bro? Oh
Oh,
my,
where like the
it's,
leg kind of like stretches like that. I think I was there when it
yeah, bro.
happened. Yeah.
It was bad, bro. It was so bad, and
Like
the coach like it's literally it's possible season-ending injury, bro. Like it's so bad. It's I wouldn't say it's on the same level as like Nick Chubb or even Hutchinson that we just seen last week. I wouldn't say it's on the same level as that, but it's for sure going to leave him out for probably like 4 to 5 weeks. That like it was so bad, bro. Because we I mean we
yeah.
don't normally like we see it, but we don't normally see it happen like that way. Because it didn't just bend backwards. It bends backwards and then twisted to the side. So
Yeah.
that's possibly ACL and MCL injury just based off of that. And
Which is
then
adding
with
to like already that you're missing Christian McCaffrey, who is such a
it
big part of
and
their running game.
exactly, and with that, it's like
And
they've
Debo.
been through a lot, bro. They've been through a lot, bro. Like past two, yeah, about past 2 years, it's been bad, bro. Debo's been getting hurt almost every single game. We even had Kittle out a few times, and now
Yeah.
the fact that you add a vital part of Christian McCaffrey to the team, him being running back of the year, it's like
But he's
you
so
take
injury prone.
is exactly it's like you take that part away. It's like, bro, you're stuck in a ditch, bro. You really don't know what to do because now you depending on him so much. Now it's like, okay, what do we do with the passing game? Because now our receivers are getting hurt. So it's like now, like what else can we do besides throw it to Kittle just for a first down every few drives? So it's like you can't really do anything but feel bad for them because they've been through a lot in like recent years, bro. And we I would say we've seen it for sure from the Super Bowl. Once they lost in the Super Bowl, it just went on decline for them every single year. And even though they were so close, and I really think they should have won the chip, it's just the small mistakes that they've made that really like made it worse. On top of the injuries, so that's what they kind of got to work on it because they have a very young team. Like almost everybody there is young, so
And
they
Brock
don't have a
Purdy's
problem
in
with
his
that.
second year, right? Second or third
Uh,
year.
Yeah, second or third year. So that, I mean, you have a pretty
And I
young
mean, they
team.
have a good defense. I mean, in this game specifically, I think the running defense could have been better because, I mean, Kareem Hunt got 2 touchdowns running. Patrick Mahomes got a touchdown running. Hardman got a touchdown running. But the fact, like passing wise, they limited Patrick Mahomes to 154 yards. Like Patrick Mahomes is not playing well passing wise. They got 2 interceptions on him. And I mean, it's not like the 49ers O-line is that bad. Like they only had 1 sack. The Chiefs only had 1 sack. The 49ers had, let's see here, at least 1 sack, maybe two, and they intercepted Patrick Mahomes twice. Like the defense was locked in. It's just the 49ers offense is missing so many vital parts of their team, of their scheme. And the Chiefs are like they should not be undefeated. they're just gonna sleepwalk. I swear. I'm calling it now. I don't think they'll go undefeated once they go against like an actual like healthy good team. They'll lose. But the Chiefs are just sleepwalking right now. Patrick Mahomes does not look like MVP caliber Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, let's see here. They have Raiders, Buccaneers, Broncos, Bills, Panthers, Raiders, Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers, Broncos. They do not have any good teams. They're gonna fuck up the Bills like they do every year. The Broncos, I mean, maybe defensively they can limit them, but the offense for the Broncos isn't exactly there. The Buccaneers, maybe that'll be the problem, but I don't think they're getting actual competition. Besides maybe the Ravens this year, which they only played once. I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. The Chiefs should not be in the place that they are. But we're gonna move on before I hate on the Chiefs too much. The Swifties are gonna come after me. The other big game, Texans Packers. We need to talk about CJ Stroud, man. Only 86 yards on only 10
Oh no 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 no
completions.
no 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 no. But you was on me. You was on it last week about me not starting Stroud in my
Shut up,
fantasy.
shut up, shut up,
I
shut up,
know
shut
what
up,
I'm
shut up,
doing.
shut up,
No,
shut up,
no,
shut
I know what I'm doing,
up.
bro. I have Goff and Stroud. Obviously, I'm gonna start Stroud, bro. But think about it. Stroud, even though like he's very good, bro, he always has a few games where he's not like playing to the best of his ability. So it's like
This
you
was that
can't
game.
depend on him. Like you can't depend on
This
him
was that
too much.
game.
It is like you really can't depend on him too much. That's exactly what I've been telling people. Like, yeah, Stroud is like skill wise, like bro, you can't take anything away from that man. You have to give him his credit and give him his flowers. But at the
Shout
same
out.
time, it's like you can't you can't just say he's that good to the point where you can depend on him all the time.
It's
Like you
only his
can't
second
do that,
year.
bro.
It's only his second year.
Like is it like come on
They
now.
have a solid team.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Texans are not trash. But the fact that you depend on him out of everybody is kind of insane. Because like, bro, your offense is already stacked. You have Dell, Collins, and
Joe
Diggs as your
Mixon.
receivers,
Joe Mixon
and
as a running back, who in this game carried,
and
who
then
he had
freaking
115
bro,
yards and 2 touchdowns,
your whole offensive room is stacked.
and a good
Like
kicker. Fairbairn is a good kicker.
there's no doubt about it. But when people would depend on Stroud way too much, is always a downfall right there, and then he picks it right back up. That's why I be telling people like, yeah, he could have played better, but at the same time, Packers are hungry right now. Like they're
But the
I mean they're possibly one of the
Texans
most
defense
hungry teams,
intercepted twice. Texans defense intercepted twice. It was the Packers
right?
defense that
I-
kept the Packers in the game because even though Jordan Love had 3 touchdowns, their running game was not there. The Texans' running game was there. It was just the passing offense. They were not there. CJ Stroud, if CJ Stroud actually played good this game, the Texans would have won easily. Because
but
it's not
but
even like he had an interception. It was just the coverage.
but that's the thing. You could say that about both teams. They're both on the same level. Like they're not one is above each other because they both have like flaws to them that makes them that even to each other because we've already seen it. Packers are playing pretty good. Packers are actually great, and then Texans are going insane. But the fact that when you put two teams against each other that still had a lot of things to work on, and then their offense is still not fully in tunes, that's kind of what like that screws it up because defense already is always going to show up for those teams. Defense always goes crazy. But the fact that you have struggling offenses, that's what makes it like a low scoring, even game, basically. Because bro, it shouldn't even be close. We
Texans should have
Texans
won.
should have
Texans should have
Texas
won.
for sure should have won. But
The defense did their
the
job.
the Packers like defense, they just showed up more than like the offense on Texans, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it every single drive. We've seen Stroud struggle a little bit, and then we've also seen the receiver room. We've seen them get not I wouldn't say it locked up, but they've for sure struggled to get a little bit open just so Stroud can make the pass at least, or at least get the ball off. That's what they got to work on. But I keep telling people, yeah, Texans are good, but bro, they're not Super Bowl contenders just yet, bro. They work on it a little bit more for the rest of the season. 100%. It will either be Vikings, Lions, Ravens, and Texans if the script doesn't mess with the freaking game for the Chiefs, bro. Because we already know how that goes.
The
The Chiefs
Chiefs
are
are
not
getting
playing
the
with no
bye.
competition, bro.
The Chiefs are getting
Like
the bye, dude. They have no
we
competition.
we know how this goes, bro. So that's what I feel like that's what people need to realize more. If you can put all that pressure on Stroud and on the Texans, but once one bad game happens, it's always a downfall after, bro. And we've seen that before with your Seahawks for the past 4 weeks. Like,
Shush.
come on now.
Shush.
We three and then three.
We broke the losing
That's
streak.
actually horrible.
We broke the losing
Oh,
streak.
against the Falcons, bro. Against them.
Okay, the
Come on, bro.
Falcons are not bad. The Falcons are not bad. They were not bad. We locked in defensively this game. We locked in defensively this game.
And that's the problem. You have that, bro. You have all that talent in your offense, and you telling me like, come on, you got to rely on the defense for you to win the game for you. Come on now.
The offense played solid. Geno Smith had 2 touchdowns, 207 yards. Jackson Smith had 1 pass completed, 35 yards on the trickery. Kenneth Walker had a touchdown, although I think we could have done better running wise. But I mean, our running game was more about short games that game because I watched it. It was more about short games and just moving the ball. And I mean, defensively, like, you can say what you want about depending on our defense, but the offense played decent enough for the defense to just pick up the slack. The defense had what?
Um,
Three interceptions after maybe not getting, or 2 interceptions and a fumble after barely having any takeaways the past 3 weeks. And I mean, it's not like Kirk Cousins played badly. Kirk Cousins had 232 yards and a touchdown, and Bijan Robinson had 103 yards and a touchdown. But we intercepted Kirk Cousins twice. We stripped the ball from Kirk Cousins once and gave him a bloody nose. Like the defense locked in. The offense played okay, but the defense locked in. I think that was the biggest part in this game. I'm happy with how we played. I don't think the Falcons are necessarily a bad team, but I think we
but,
just locked
but
in.
they're not bad, but you got to think, bro. You have an offense that's
It's a
completely
defense.
like nah. I would say offense to be honest, because your offense is already like your chemistry is already there. You already have that connection with all your receivers and your O line, so you have that connection there. But I would say that the offense they definitely depend on the defense too much because we've seen in recent games the defense for the Hawks haven't played too good. Like they haven't they shouldn't have lost those games, but it's like the roles switch. They depended on the defense too much for this game, but then in recent games they depended on the offense way too much. When defense
Yeah.
is what was supposed to win them those games. The Hawks are not trash at all. They have everything that they need, bro. It's just the fact that they need to at least get themselves in order and work as a unit. That will help them a lot more because, bro, you can't go 3-0 and then 0-3 in those 6 weeks by like luck, bro. Like that. That's no, bro. That's not how it works. A team
Yeah.
that good is not just gonna flip a switch and then automatically just play horrible for the next 3 weeks. That's not how it works, like at all. The Hawks I wouldn't say a Super Bowl contender, but they're for sure conference championship, bro. Like they can for sure go almost all the way and prove a point. But if they don't get themselves in order, then it's out of gas for them. Like there's nothing else they can do because every other team is pushing forward while the Hawks are struggling right now.
I want to say prayers up for Metcalf. He is, I think, at least questionable right now. He went out with, I
Yeah.
think, a knee injury. I hope he's okay. I think I didn't see what the injury was, but he went out on that play where he caught it midair and the Falcons player pushed him out of bounds and he fell basically like face first. So hopefully he's okay. He seemed to be holding his knee, which is weird to me, but maybe it was like a nerve thing, like it just like the pain shot up or something like that. But I mean, hopefully he's okay. He's a good receiver. Um, he's a really strong receiver. What other games are there? I think we can skip the Colts and the Dolphins. The
Wait,
poor Dolphins, man.
that
Um,
is over for them. Season's over.
the Bills, I mean, the Bills did what we said they would do, where like they gotta wake up, and thankfully they did because they were down 10-0, and then they came back, putting up 34 points. So that's good. The Titans, I have no notes on them. They need to rebuild. That's literally it, honestly. They played a different quarterback. They played Mason Rudolph this week, but still, I mean, they need to lock in a little. Um, Josh Allen, like we said, he needed to lock in this week against like a worse team. He locked in 323 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the running game obviously helped. Davis and Cook both had a touchdown. So I mean, I have no notes. They said what we said they needed to do. I mean, they did what we said they needed to do, which is lock in and work on that chemistry. Hopefully, we see more of that from them. I think if they play like that, they beat the Chiefs easily because I mean the defense
Yeah,
isn't bad. Um, besides that, uh, we saw Saquon beat the Giants pretty handily, which was really funny to
uh,
see. Let me see his stats. Let me see how many exactly. Because
bro,
like
he went
this
off,
was
bro.
literally just Saquon Barkley. Jalen Hurts had only 114 yards, only attempted 14 passes and completed 10 of
Bro,
them, to give him credit, and only 1 touchdown. It was literally Saquon Barkley. It was like they
Barkley,
literally gave him the ball.
he was proving a point, bro. That I've never seen that man truck somebody so hard and then go for 50 to play after and then make it a touchdown. That man, bro, he's proving a point, bro.
He only had
So
one
many people
touchdown
counting
too.
him out.
He was really
Exact
just
like
running. 176
so,
yards because Jalen Hurts had another 2 touchdowns from just
is
running the ball.
come on, bro. Come on, bro.
The Giants
That
put up 3 points. Daniel Jones had 99 yards. He did not even make the 100 mark on 14 completions. No touchdowns, zero interceptions, like no touchdowns, not even 100 yards. The Giants need work. That is all I can say. The Giants need work. Their running game was not
they need
there.
more than work,
Their
bro.
passing
They
game
need
was not there.
a miracle, dude.
The defense could not handle Saquon Barkley. Like, I don't even know if we can blame the defense here. Like, they could not handle Saquon Barkley. They couldn't handle like and like they got lucky because this Eagles team isn't good. Saquon Barkley, I think, is the redeeming quality of this Eagles offense. But like, I have no notes. Saquon got what was his. Um, Update on the Steelers game. They are now 30 and 15 going into the fourth quarter with a touchdown from I think Russell Wilson. I want to say Russell Wilson. He has two passing touchdowns and one running touchdown. Russell Wilson come back? Russell Wilson come back?
Bro.
I will be
I
happy
and I've been telling people that, bro. Like, yeah, he hasn't been starting the whole time, and people will call him as wash. Bro, you put him in the right program, he's going to ball out, bro.
because Broncos
Like,
was not a good program.
like, come on now. We've seen it before. He may not be performing good all the time, but bro, when you give him like patience and he goes against a
He's
trash
good,
team,
yeah.
he's going to prove a point, bro.
He won a Super Bowl. Like he's good. Um, what else? Bengals beat the Browns, just like we said. Nothing to say there. Burrow locked in. Deshaun Watson is finally injured, and now they're gonna play my boy, Jameis Winston,
You
who had a
cold, bro.
touchdown in that game. Had a touchdown in that game after whatever other quarterback they put in. Dorian Thompson Robinson had 2 interceptions. So hopefully they play Jameis Winston because I think Jameis Winston is the right quarterback for this Browns team. Bengals, you gotta give them credit. 2 touchdowns, 181 yards from Joe Burrow. So, you know, and I think a pick six. Oh no, it was a kick return touchdown. So, I mean, you gotta give the Bengals their credit. We can skip over the Rams Raiders team. Both teams are fucking washed. Gardner Minshew with 3 interceptions, just to highlight the funniness of this of this fucking game. Three interceptions from Gardner Minshew. Uh, I think all, yes, all of the Raiders' points were from field goals. Whoever had Mr. Carlson, Mr. Daniel Carlson as their kicker this week on their fantasy team. Congrats, 15 points. Matthew Stafford had one interception, literally depended on that running game, on Kyron Williams, two touchdowns. I mean, no notes. There's literally nothing else to be said. Both teams are bad. I'm not even gonna focus anymore on this game. I'm just trying to figure out where the other points came from. I'm gonna say maybe a pick six, I wanna say. Because yeah, 2 points. Yeah, I think it was a pick six. Whatever. Nothing to see there. Commanders beat Panthers, just like we said. Sadly, I'm so mad that this happened in this game specifically. Jaden Daniels goes out with an injury. Thankfully, they still beat the Panthers handily, 40-7, because of Mariota, apparently, because Daniels went out on literally like only two passes completed. Like Daniels went out like almost immediately. But I mean, Marcus Mariota, like at least he got this game, which was an easy game. So hopefully the Commanders won't be too fucked up by that injury. Let me see what this injury is. Ribs,
Yeah, it's a rib injury. I don't think it would be too bad,
left rib.
but statistically, rib injury is one of the worst injuries for a QB. It's always either a shoulder problem, a rib injury, or possibly something with lower leg. That's always like the main problems with QBs. So if that limits him, bro, they're messed up. Like for the rest of the season, possibly. And
He,
I
I
wouldn't say
mean,
like
he came back to the sideline, so at least it's not like too bad. Like he was just in his sweats, like just enjoying the game. But I mean, this we already saw this with RG3, where like an injury will just fuck all your future up. So hopefully, I mean, we were just saying like last episode that Jaden Daniels could be like the future of the NFL. So hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he comes back soon, healthy. But I mean, for the Commanders, like this was the game that you wanted to injure your star quarterback, I think, because I mean it's
yeah,
an easy
I
win.
agree.
Marcus
I mean
Mariota
from
locked in, honestly. Mariota isn't a
from
bad
here on
quarterback.
out though, I would say yeah, I would say that too. Mariota, he's not bad, but I would definitely say like it would be smart to have Mariota play specifically this game because it's
Yeah,
like right moving forward with the commander schedule, their schedule is not really easy. Like they
yeah.
play a few good teams. So like
At least
with
evenly
with
matched
yeah,
teams.
like or evenly matched. Like with
I
that,
mean, even
it was
next
it
week,
was
the
it was
Bears,
mad
I
smart.
wanted to see Jaden Williams, Caleb Williams matchup. I mean, sorry, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams matchup. And
Yeah,
now we're not
it's
gonna
it's
get that.
possible though. It's
Maybe, but
possible
I
because
think
I
as
mean,
well,
but
you shouldn't rush him back though.
I mean, true, but at the same time, that the word injury is overused a whole bunch of times. If we really think about it, we've seen people say like it's an injury, but yet they'll come back like next game, or they're like questionable. So you
Yeah,
can, I mean, you can't really say it's an injury because like yeah, it is ribs, but it's not if the dude's really on the sideline walking around, it's not that serious because I
yeah.
guarantee you can literally have it go scanned and there's probably nothing wrong with it. It's probably just something with his tissue and it's probably just aggravating him. That's probably what it was. So I mean, you can't count them out just yet, but they still have a lot of time for him to get back and be healthy and still dominate. Their only problem right now is the fact that they have to play the Bears next week. That's the only problem they have
Yeah,
right now. If they could wait a little bit longer, they wouldn't have a problem. But the fact that you play the Bears so soon, that's kind of like messed up for them.
we do have tomorrow the Ravens Buccaneers game and the Chargers Cardinals game, which we predicted. I think we said Ravens would win and Cardinals would win, I think. I mean, the Chargers Cardinals
Yeah,
game doesn't really matter that much, but at least Ravens winning. So we'll see about that on next episode. I guess we'll see. I mean, if we stall long enough, we might see the end of this Jets Steelers game. It looks like the Steelers might be about to win. They're 30-15 with 2 minutes and 44 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So hopefully that
right.
means Russell Wilson comeback season.
They're about to score right now, bro. Come on, bro.
It's a 4-for-1 though.
we're,
Okay,
we're talking
okay.
about 30 to
We'll
50. We're
come
talking
back to
about 30 to
this.
15
We'll
with
come
two
back to
minutes
this
left.
in
Come
two
on, bro.
minutes. We'll come back to
Come
this in
on,
two
bro.
minutes. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that means good things for Russell Wilson. I'm a Russell Wilson fan. I grew up with him on the Seahawks, so you know. Um,
Um,
I guess for these review episodes, we should do biggest winner and biggest loser of the week. I'm gonna say mine first. I'll let you think about them. I think the biggest winner this week, I'm gonna say the Lions, obviously. I think the Patriots win just because Drake May is looking good. So I guess in terms of winning long term, I think that's a good sign. Um, Saquon Barkley and the um, what was I gonna say? The Bills. I want to say the Bills just because they locked in, they came back, and Josh Allen showed that he can still play and that he's still here. I think the biggest loser is definitely CJ Stroud. I think that was a really bad game for him. I think the Vikings, I think this was a game that they needed to win. I think if they had won this game, they would have definitely been like on track to get a first round bye. And now I think that's less certain. Sorry, I'm saying the biggest losers. The Commanders, just because it's scary to injure your star quarterback halfway through a season like this, especially when you're looking so good. But he looks isn't nothing too bad, I would say, so hopefully it's okay. The 49ers as well, I think is the biggest loser this week. Because I mean, preseason this year, I think we were saying that they would be good this year. I definitely thought they would be good, or at least better than they have been. Like they're second place right now. The Seahawks are first place right now, which I mean I'm happy about, but I was expecting a lot more out of this 49ers team. Um, yeah. What about you so much? Biggest winners and biggest losers?
I'll say biggest loser right now has to be hands on the Dolphins. 100%, bro. They're like, even though they have, I wouldn't say everything that they need, but they have everything like in the franchise. Long term, bro, they're gonna be horrible. Like, honestly, because even if Tua, I mean, like, yeah, even if Tua comes back, he probably still go crazy like he did before with his first concussion when he came back, and they didn't lose a game after that. Yeah, that could be the case, but it's like, bro, your life is on the line. He gets hit one
Yeah.
more time, the whole franchise is pretty much like in the middle of the ocean. Like they're just stuck there. So it's
I mean,
like
at this
with
point, do you
them,
just draft a new quarterback next season? Like, what do you
you
do now?
you have no choice but to, bro. You literally have you don't have a choice. That's if you are literally top
Like,
five in
would
the
you
draft, you
retire?
have to draft a quarterback.
Do you
He doesn't
retire
have
at
a
this
choice.
point?
He like, bro, if he literally gets hit one more time and he's done, he has to retire. Like the Dolphins are literally going to force him to retire, and then
Yeah.
they're just going to have to pay off the rest of his money, and then then possibly if that does happen, that will possibly set the Dolphins up to actually get a top five pick next year, or possibly even top 10, and to draft a QB. So that I mean that could help him, but for Tua, that's actually horrible because you
I
spent
feel
all
so
this money
bad,
on him,
man.
and you built everything around him, and yet like he's not even being put to good use because he's on the sideline after a third concussion. So it's like I feel like that they're the
If it
for
wasn't
sure
for the
biggest losers,
concussions, if it wasn't for the
bro.
concussions, they would be so good. They would be Super Bowl contenders.
Oh, for
Tua
sure,
is that piece of the offense for them.
one
Like
hundred percent.
I know we say you shouldn't depend on like one piece of your offense too much, but I think when it comes to the quarterback position, it is the position of your offense. Like you only have one of them. And when it comes to the Dolphins, like Tua is the guy for the offense, and I think without him, the Dolphins are fucked again. which is honestly kind of
Yeah.
sad.
I
Biggest winner?
mean, you did feel sad for him, but it's nothing else you could do. Biggest
Yeah,
winner, mm, I would have to say biggest winner as far as I mean, like yeah, they won the game, but as far as like the journey, I would say Lions for sure. Because even though like yeah, they played the Vikings, it was a very close scoring game. The Lions are like they're proving a point basically. Because like you literally have debatably the best two teams in the league going against each other. And like they're holding each other down so much to like that much of a low scoring game. So it's like if the fact that they came out on top, they're still undefeated right now, and then yet the rest of the schedule is not even too crazy. I feel like that's probably the biggest win because now they right now they for sure have a guaranteed spot to the playoffs. Like they're not going to lose another game unless they make a lot of mistakes moving forward. Other than that, if they keep playing the way they're playing right now, bro, they're going undefeated. Like possibly one loss or maybe two if
I
it's
would say maybe
like
the
in
Bears or the
overtime.
Packers get a sneaky little win somewhere, just because of division
I
rivalries.
mean, it's possible, but I honestly doubt it, bro. Like the team wise, Lions take both of them, bro. Like they overall as a team, they play to the best of their ability. So it's like you literally can like once you add hunger to skill plus your drive, you can't stop that.
Yeah,
Like we've seen it from the Lions last year. They made it all the way to the playoffs and lose to the Chiefs, which it was tough because we haven't seen them make it there in freaking decades. But like, come on now, Lions are literally showing that like, okay, even though we haven't been good, bro, they're honestly amazing. Because if you actually watch the games, you would see like it's literally like a perfect orchestra, bro. Everything literally moves in line. Like there's literally almost no mistakes. If it's a mistake, it's from the other team that made them make that mistake.
yeah.
There's that like that's literally how it is. They're just playing too good right now.
Hopefully the good luck keeps coming for the Lions, honestly. I like how they're playing. It's been very satisfying to watch, I feel. Well, this has been this is gonna be the Monday episode. Yes, this has been the second episode of the Sideline Search. Hope you all have enjoyed. Definitely if you haven't yet, get Russell Wilson on your fantasy team.
All
Big
right, bro.
things are
You're
coming.
going too you're going too far. You're
Big
going too
things
far.
are
You're going too
coming.
far. Stop
At
it.
least
Stop
have
it.
him on your bench. At least have him on your
Stop it.
bench.
No, stop it.
Um,
Stop it. Stop, bro.
drop Aaron Rodgers immediately. I feel bad for whoever had him. But yeah, this has been our review episode. Now that we are 2 episodes in, our formatting will be like this: a preview episode on Thursday, hopefully, as long as we stay on schedule, and a review episode on Monday. And yeah, um, see you on Thursday. Bye bye.